What is happening in the world today that really is about our human evolution? Like less personal, less, even American, right? But just as a global human community, we are evolving. What we're seeing right now, the kind of chaos and troubles that we're seeing, how's that connected to our our trying to move up and forward and ascend, right?
Oh my gosh. As you're talking about, it's like so many ideas coming through.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see where I want to start with that. Yes, so if you notice that these events that are happening in the world today now are starting to happen in more places with a shorter amount of time in between them.
Yes.
So, and that's purposeful too. So it's like it feels like, wow, every time we turn on the news, there's some kind of something that's happened.
Right.
Tragedy, or rockets being launched, or whatever.
Yeah.
Shorter and shorter amounts of time in between them, so we have less time to recoup from that, which is what humans need. Because when we settle back into a place of comfortability, then we forget about these things.
Right.
So we need to stay in a state of uncomfortability in order to be able to move to higher grounds.
Great.
Right? That is always what triggers change, is when we're in a state of uncomfortability. It's our human nature. We want to be in control and in a comfortable place where everything is just so, just as is. And then we can continue to bottle down our path. And that's what it is, bottling down our path in an unconscious state.
Right.
That's not being allowed anymore, because we are being called to activate to higher levels of consciousness. And we can only do that through change, and we're only motivated to create change when we're uncomfortable. So that's what we're seeing more and more of.
Great.
Now, when all this stuff started happening, for example, with the entertainment industry, where all these people, sexual allegations, all this kind of stuff, right? People not being honest, people not operating from a place of integrity. Now, this is happening everywhere, but I feel like the reason why this happened in the entertainment industry is because it's kind of like this beloved industry that, we see these celebrities and,
Right. I know.
Yeah.
Right.
So something that in the movies, we love the movies that this industry puts out. And so it's
putting it all on a pedestal.
Yes, right. And so everybody can kind of identify with the entertainment industry, right?
Yeah.
If it were some pharmaceutical company or something, you're like, oh gosh, wow, what? But it's the people that we see and that we know, right?
Yeah.
And you can see, oh my goodness, the people that we know one way, they weren't doing things so nicely or whatever.
Right.
So the reason why that's important is because if you're looking at that for entertainment purposes, I wonder what's going to come out today, you're missing the boat completely, because what that's meant to do is meant to trigger something in you that gets you thinking about, wow, that doesn't seem right. Well, this person is saying they didn't know, but in my heart of hearts, I feel like they did know. They did know. They're not being honest. They're not living with integrity.
Right.
They're not representing truth. Gosh, well, how do I feel about that? How do I feel about what's happening in the world? How do I feel about my own life? Maybe I need to think about some of the choices that I've made.
Right.
Where did those choices come from? How have I been? How do I want to be? How do I want the world to be? How do I see myself in the world? How do I want to be in the world? What world is it that I want to be a part of? And then how does that involve me? What is my part in that?
Right.
So that's really what's happening on a broader scale. I just use the entertainment industry just as an example. But there's all kinds of shenanigans happening out there. Structures falling apart right in front of us. Look what's happening to our own government.
Right.
There's like a big spotlight being shining on everyone.
Right.
Not about party lines or what it's about. Every person, there's the spotlight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
coming to the surface now
Yes.
in
Yes.
all ways.
Yeah.
And I want to say this, Laurel, because, they've had the Women's March, and then they've had Black Lives Matter, and they have this group and that group and this group and that group. But the way I see it is, it's really not about one gender.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about one party. It's not about one ethnicity. It's not about one religion. The way I see it is not that all of them may not, these different groups, trying to strive for good things, but what I feel like needs to happen is, what I'd like to see is, that I feel like is segregation, group here, group there, group here.
Right.
Really, we're humanity.
Mm. Yeah.
And as soon as we start putting ourselves into
Groups. Yeah.
groups and identities,
Right.
in the end, we're humans.
Right.
And we're all connected.
Right.
It's about women as much as it is about men. It's about this religion as much as about this ethnicity, as much as it is about that. It's about people being kind to one another.
Mm. Yeah.
About people living their lives from a place of love. And that's what the ascension process is about. It's about moving from the head down to the heart.
Right. Right.
And
That's
then, and so when you do that, you see beyond labels and identities and groups and party lines and politics. It's about people.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, that's powerful. It's funny because I was going to ask you, this was my next question, and maybe that was the answer, but I'm going to put it out there anyway, just see what else comes. But so what is the one thing that we can do, to make things better or feel like we're contributing well, especially when we feel like everything feels out of control and chaotic in the world? Like what can we do at home in our own little space, that will make a difference, help us?
A lot of times people feel like, wow, I got to get out there and do something in order to make a contribution. I've got to do this charity. I got to raise this amount of money. I got to do this or that in order to make a contribution to this world.
Right.
And I truly believe the best contribution it is that anybody can make to this world is by redirecting their focus to what's going on outside of them and returning that, directing it right back to yourself. And being the best version of you.
Right.
Doing the work on yourself that is needed to be the best version of you. That is the greatest gift that you can give to humanity.
That's beautiful.
Especially because we are all connected.
Yeah.
And that's what all these things in this world that's happening today is doing for us. It's meant to direct that focus back here, back to you.
Right.
Because if you think about it, right? If you are emanating love, experiencing love, giving love, living from a place of love, if you are you are embodying that, and then you're emanating that out into the world. We've talked about everything being energy. That is energy that that's then your vibration, right?
Yeah.
And that's the energy that you are blessing the world around you with, because it's a true blessing and everybody receives that.
Yeah. 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 So I want you to speak to being the best version of yourself. So I think you were a little bit there, but I think a lot of people are still struggling with, the best version of themselves is, the enlightened, whatever, that's changing the world and sending out a message. I mean, a lot of this stuff is like, we have to put out a video that we have all the answers of the world. I mean, there's kind of like, I think we're lost in this. We have to be bigger than life to be the best version of ourselves. And how do we possibly do that? Right. And so then we're in this pressure, like, I have to do this and I have to do this next and I have to do this next. So can you speak a little bit to the best version of yourself and what that looks like if you're just doing it and going down that path and not worrying about, whether you're, wrote a bestseller book or not?
That's one of the greatest, it could be a very challenging thing for people. Mm-hmm. The notion of comparison, comparing, right. And comparing and competing. Boy, you'll really do yourself a disservice if you choose to take on that kind of approach and mindset. But, when we talk about awareness, that takes awareness. Yeah. Because you can get caught up in that. Even in this work, I'm friends with a whole bunch of people that do what I do what you do. Yeah. And you're connected with them on social media. Say, oh, this one over here is doing this, that. How did she get to do that? Now she's writing this book. She's doing this TV appearance. Yeah. You can do that in all lines of work. You're in the corporate world. Boy, how did that person climb the ladder like that? Why did they get promoted and I didn't? Yeah. This one over here, she got that boyfriend and what about me? So that can even be a leading cause for anxiety and depression and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. So the first thing that we want to remember is to stay on our own path. Right. Yeah. Stay on our own path. Before I left Los Angeles, I was working with people in the community, men. You talk about men. Men don't really come as frequently, right? But there are men that were coming to me because they couldn't keep up with the pressure. Right. Having to perform, generate a certain income. Yeah. They're coming to me for energy healing for that. Right, right. So they needed to be reinstate some feelings of wellness. Right. I just want to feel good. I just want inner peace. I can't sleep anymore. My business isn't generating the same income. Yeah. Everybody around me is driving their Mercedes. Yeah. So we have to remember we stay on our own path. Mm. And what might be right for somebody else in this moment in time may not be right for you, even though your logical mind says, you know what, I wanted that promotion. Right. I want a boyfriend like that. I want a wife like that. I can do that. Your soul has got a plan that is divinely inspired. Right. Right. Which is the perfect plan for you. So you have to remember that what might be right for somebody else may not be right for you at this point in time. Yeah. And how you can get into tune with what might be right for you is by doing things like meditation, where you're actually connecting to yourself. Mm-hmm. Yep. So you start off, this answer is not going to be some grandiose plan of, you start off one step at a time. Right, right. It doesn't have to be this major thing. You start off, if you give yourself 10 minutes of meditation a day that you didn't give before, your life will transform. Yep. That's not some grandiose, that's a very simplicity, practical thing to do. Right. And what you'll notice when you're on this path is that a lot of time, that's what guidance comes through. Mm-hmm. It's practical simplicity. It doesn't have to be so complicated. We start with connecting to ourselves. Right. Try that. Right. You'll connect to truth. Yeah. Then when you're connected to truth, you're seeing things correctly. You're seeing things from the highest perspective. When you're seeing things from the highest perspective, your vibration changes, the way you see life, the way you experience life changes, your life improves, your relationships improve, you're feeling happier and healthier, your physical body improves, all these things. So you just start off having awareness, you're staying on your own path. And part of one of our greatest challenges as humans is attachment. Yeah. Attachment. Yeah. attachment to our beliefs and certain emotions, certain thought patterns, beliefs of how things are supposed to be, ought to be, need to be, I want them to be, have to be.
Oh, it drives us crazy, literally.
Well, and that creates such limitations for ourselves. But we have to be also at the same time, we have to be gentle with ourselves, because this kind of growth and awareness does not happen like that unless you're going through some kind of major spiritual awakening, you know. Things happen in a very subtle, gradual way. And then you're like, oh, I feel differently.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden I felt I feel a little different.
Yeah.
Oh wow, you know what, I noticed I've been happier. Things aren't so difficult.
Yeah.
You know, life maybe isn't as difficult as I had made it out to be. Or the problems I thought were problems, you know what, actually, it's gonna be okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like subtle like that.
Yeah.
Like that. So, you know, anticipate that it's going to be a process. It will be a process. It's like social, because if you think about it, a lot of our beliefs and the way we think about things, those are developed over years.
Yes. Yes.
Years. So we gotta, you know, unravel those knots.
Yes. Yeah.
Like little by little, they unravel.
Yes.
But you got to be committed to yourself. You got to show up for yourself. You got to be committed to your own well-being.
Whoa. Bingo. You know what? I almost feel like we should stop there, because to me that is so powerful.
Yeah.
A commitment to ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? Commitment to ourselves. I think that that's so huge. So people that are struggling with committing to their self-care or to themselves, any words for them?
Well, you know, someone like you or someone like me, or, you know, the different practitioners that are out there are not going to be able to create change for you.
Right.
Only you can do that for yourself. We can help facilitate that process, help support you on your journey, maybe give you different tools to work with, those kinds of things. But nobody is going to be able to do that for you except for you. That's the bottom line. And, you know, when you're talking about your own evolution, there are no free giveaways. There are no handouts. There's no entitlements.
Right.
You will have to do the work that you will have to do in order to get to where it is you want to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and now, you know, and that may take a continual set of experiences that feel unfavorable or not nice in order to get you motivated to create change.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you might, you know, you might need that. You might need to keep making the same decisions and be in the same situation or the same relationship or whatever it is for a little bit more time.
Right.
In order to ignite that, illuminate within yourself what needs to be seen, and, you know, feel more and more uncomfortable in the way things have been, in order to inspire change.
Yes.
You might just need that.
Yes.
So you have to be gentle with yourself on that too.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think, you know, what I hear you saying is if we take that message kind of across the board for everybody, is if you're struggling, if you're in a challenge, if you feel like you've been working towards something and you're not getting there, that it's all in service ultimately to you awakening to more and more of yourself and your ability to truly, you know, go forward on your own unique life path.
Yeah, so if you're not feeling the way you want to feel, I would say that it's more than likely because you're offering up some kind of resistance to what it is, whatever experience it is you wanting to bring into your life. So there's still something within yourself that needs to be brought back into balance or cleared up or healed a bit.
Mm.
You know, because, you know, I've experienced that in my own life. It's like I've been very strategic, you know, about what it is I want to bring forth into my life and had a plan in place to do it and said prayers around it, etc.
Yeah.
You know, and then you get to a place where it's like, okay, this isn't happening. There must be some kind of attachment to it, something within myself that still needs to be addressed. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, when it's like you're the Energizer bunny, hitting yourself up against the wall, falling down, doing that, you know, keep doing that like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then it gets to a point where it's like, okay, enough is enough. I can't do it anymore. I just can't do it anymore. And then you start to let go a little bit.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
let go and you move from a place of letting go more into a place of allowance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then when you move into that state of allowance, then you allow things to unfold in an organic way that's really in alignment with where your soul is at that point in time. Because all of this, in my opinion, is about, being in alignment with your soul.
Right.
You know, where you are on your path at that point in time. And the thing is, like, people can say, oh, you know, what's that thing? Oh, let go and let God.
Mm.
Oh, just surrender.
Mm.
Oh, well, you know, that's wonderful, you know, but if everyone could do that, we'd like push the button and be like in surrender mode. Oh, just,
That's
you know,
right. That's right.
it's just a reflection of what what still needs to be sorted through within ourselves. So
Yeah.
we have to honor that about the process, even though it can cause some frustration along the way. And then
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, you'll get to a place where that frustration will just kind of dwindle away, as you just have nothing left to give to
Yes.
that. It's just like, okay, all right, enough is enough. I just got to just be.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Right. Love it. Gosh, Kim, that I feel like you shared so much. You were so generous. Thank you. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank
Thank
you
you
so
for
much.
sharing all that you did today.
I so
Um, so I want people to be able to reach you if they want to schedule a session or talk to you about, you know, having some energy work or, you know, whatever their individual interest is. So can you slowly give us your contact information? I'll also put it out, you know, with this video, but just say it now so that everybody can, you know what's the best way to get in touch with you.
Yeah, sure. So you can find me on my website, which is lovefirst.info. It's just lovefirst.info, INFO. You can also find me online if you look me up under Kimberly Thalken. The last name is spelled T as in Tom, Halken. And that's the best way to reach out to me. You can look at all the different types of, you know, work that I do. If you want to ask what my title is, it's, you know, I do psychic medium readings, I do energy healing work, and also hypnotherapy.
Mm-hmm.
All of those services really just work together to support you on a path of wellness. You know, with the readings, it helps to shift perspective, or it offers up new perspectives. Energy healing helps to work with shifting the energy, and hypnotherapy really just works with the power of the mind, the conscious minds, everything working together to support you in different ways. You can also find me at Inspired Living with Mark and Kim, which is my weekly internet-based radio show, which is on the OM Times platform, OM Times platform. I'm on every Wednesdays on OM Times and at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. So those are the different ways that you can find me, and I would love to work with whoever, you know, feels that this message resonates.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much for your time today. I loved having you on.
Thank you,
Thank
Laurel. Thank
you.
you so much for having me. I've really enjoyed this hour.